Welcome to Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. The National League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by BlackBerry. And it's Game 2 of the best-of-5 National League Division Series battle between two of the great franchises, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the Dodgers winning last night, beating Chris Carpenter in the process by a score of 5-3. Welcome, everyone. Dick Stockton along with Bob Brenly. And after Game 1, Bob, what is your take on it?
Well, we are in the entertainment capital of the world. And one thing we learned last night, just like in a movie, sometimes the supporting cast makes the show. Rafael Furcal, James Loney, Casey Blake, and Andre Ethier with multi-hit games last night. Manny Ramirez not really a factor. And for the Cardinals, the player that Tony La Russa calls the perfect ball player was a non-factor offensively, Albert Pujols.
Well, the Cardinals, as we know, have been counting on a great 1-2 punch to start this series. Carpenter didn't get it done last night. What about Adam Wainwright this afternoon? Comes in with 19 wins, leading the National League in victories, and has been very effective on the road as well. And he is facing the flashy rookie southpaw Clayton Kershaw, actually 21 years old. He's been there before, and he pitched a great game in the clinching victory against Colorado last week when he struck out 10. So it's Wainwright and Kershaw, the pitching matchup.
Kershaw has drawn favorable comparisons to a young Sandy Koufax. He's got a ways to go before he equals those kind of numbers. And for Adam Wainwright, the odds-on favorite to win the Cy Young in the National League, very similar to Chris Carpenter in style. Ate up a few more innings this year. The 19 victory says it all. So
can the Cardinals get even with their outstanding pitching, or do the Dodgers win at home again? We'll find out. We weren't born to follow. Come on and get up off your knees. When life is a pill to swallow, you gotta hold on to what you believe. One, two, three, four, five. Yep. All right. Is that okay on that? I think it's good.
Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, the mix is good. I don't want it any louder. Tom, you hear me? Tom?
Got you, Dick. How are you?
Good, Tom. Good.
Hello, Bob.
I get this email when I get home last night. Read that.
Straight.
Yeah. They were just moving some stuff here in the booth. I had to get out of the way for a minute. And right now, here is the starting lineup
for the St. Louis Cardinals, and only one change in the lineup for the Cardinals, and that will be the leadoff batter. Julio Lugo will start at second base in place of Skip Schumacher. Brendan Ryan is at shortstop. Albert Pujols will be at first base, and Matt Holliday hitting cleanup in left. Ryan Ludwig will be in right field. Yadier Molina behind the plate. Mark Derosa at third base. Colby Erasmus in center field, and Adam Wainwright will be pitching for the Cardinals and facing Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw, in his third year, not only struck out 10 batters in the clinching game for the Dodgers last Saturday, but he fanned the first 5 hitters. He is quite a wonder, and he said, without question, the biggest game he has ever pitched in.
Well, and he pitched extremely well in the biggest game he ever pitched in. This is a young man that has 4 quality pitches, especially his fastball and his curveball. Slider is still somewhat of a work in progress, as is the straight changeup, but a plus fastball, a plus curve.
And no record in 2 starts, in 1.54 earned run average as we take a look, Bob, at the scouting report.
Well, as I just mentioned, he's got ace stuff. 4 quality pitches, 2 superior pitches. He has been banged around a little bit on the first pitch, a .352 opponent's batting average, but that's the way most teams choose to attack Kershaw. If you do not, you have a possibility of running up a pitch count because he strikes out so many, he walks so many, he has a tendency to get that pitch count up there rather quickly.
All right, so we're just about set to go. MLB postseason in Espanol live. MLB postseason Spanish language feed available via SAP. Dodgers winning 5-3, and it couldn't have been planned any better as far as Joe Torre's relief pitchers were concerned, as Bob has mentioned. And the Cardinals looking to even it before Game 3, which will be Saturday at Busch Stadium. So here's Julio Lugo, who was acquired in a trade from the Red Sox for Chris Duncan in late July. And that proved to be some consternation for his father, the pitching coach on the team. And the first pitch, a fastball for a strike. Lugo, in 51 games, hit .277 with 4 homers and 13 runs batted in. Two to Lugo. Kershaw coming in has the best ERA at home of any National League starter. Very impressive, 1.83. Ball and 2 strikes. Lugo will be followed by Brendan Ryan and Albert Pujols.
I mentioned Kershaw's not afraid to use his fastball. A very aggressive pitcher out there on the mound for a 21-year-old.
Ground ball to shortstop for a call. 1 away. The Dodgers in the field. Manny Ramirez in left, Matt Kemp in center, and Andre Ethier in right field. Casey Blake is at third base. For a call at short. Ronnie Belliard at second and James Loney at first. Russell Martin behind the plate catching Kershaw. And that'll bring up the second hitter for the Cardinals, Brendan Ryan, who was 1 for 5 with a double last night. One and 0. Two balls and no strikes to the Cardinals shortstop.
You know, that .352 batting average on the first pitch against Clayton Kershaw notwithstanding, I think the Cardinals are going to try to work a lot of deep at bats in this ball game today. Their goal is to get Kershaw out of this game early.
And Kershaw falls behind 3-0. Kershaw walked 91 hitters, and even he will tell you his problem is walking too many batters. So with the count 3-0, Pujols on deck. 3-0 pitch to Ryan in there, and the count now 3-1.
You know, it's forever puzzling to pitching coaches and managers why a guy with the stuff that Clayton Kershaw has wouldn't throw everything over the plate. But, you know, that's one of the things you learn as a youngster at the major league level. You learn your strengths and weaknesses and what you need to do to be a consistent winning pitcher.
Well, the name Sandy Koufax, of course, came from the lips of Joe Torre, and when Sandy Koufax started, first with the Brooklyn Dodgers, he was a pretty wild left-hander in his own right. Here's the 3-2 pitch from Kershaw, and the bat goes flying, and the pitch is out of play, and Ryan's going to go and pick up his own stick.
Kershaw elevating a fastball there. You've seen the velocities, 95, 96 on that heater. He will probably drop down more in the 92, 93 range as the game progresses. Maybe a little overamped out there here in the first inning.
Third youngest Dodgers pitcher to start a postseason game. Three-two pitch, and Ryan fouls it back. Ryan coming in at 3 for 8 against Kershaw with 1 run batted in. And the other 2 Cardinal effective hitters against the 21-year-old left-hander are the next 2 batters, Pujols and then Matt Holliday if he gets the hit. 3-2 pitch, strike 3. Ball, third strike. Ryan is out, and there are 2 down.
Good curveball from Kershaw. I'll tell you, when you can lock up a right-handed hitter with a left-handed curveball, that speaks to the kind of break and the tight spin that Kershaw gets on that curveball.
So here's Albert Pujols, who was hitless last night in 3 official trips, but was walked intentionally twice, illustrating the fact that Joe Torre and the Dodgers will do anything to have Pujols beat them, and as he takes ball 1. First member of the Cardinals to lead the team in hitting in 9 consecutive years. And there's a strike, 1-1. And when you consider all the great hitters that franchise has had, that's pretty impressive. Foul out of play. Pujols checking his bat to see whether there was a crack in it. And the count is 1-2. And a foul fly down the left field line, out of play. Pujols coming in is 4 for 7 against Kershaw with an RBI, and he's been walked 4 times. No surprise there. One-two pitch, and a ground ball to third base. Casey Blake retires Pujols. 1-2 third inning for Clayton Kershaw. Cardinals are out in order, and the Dodgers come up. Driving machine. Dodgers coming up in the bottom of the first. Same lineup as last night. Rafael Furcal leading off, followed by Matt Kemp, who hit the big two-run homer in the first. Andre Ethier hitting third, and Manny Ramirez at cleanup. James Loney in the fifth spot. Casey Blake hitting sixth. Ronnie Belliard, followed by Russell Martin and Clayton Kershaw hitting ninth. And here is Furcal, who takes the first pitch for a strike. Rafael Furcal, and when he gets hot late in the year, and he's done that and has hit well against the Cardinals, a huge boost for the Dodgers. Curveball over for a strike, and that's the money pitch for Adam Wainwright.
Boy, it sure is, Dick, and you'll see that pitch in any count to any hitter. He'll change speeds on his breaking ball. 233 innings on the season, which is why a lot of people give him the inside track for that Cy Young Award in the National League. He's been a real workhorse.
And even Chris Carpenter endorses him for the Cy Young Award. Carpenter, in his own right, a candidate. So Adam Wainwright, who also comes into the game, tied for the lead for the best road wins this year. He is 12-1 on the road, and only Scott Feldman and CC Sabathia achieved that many wins away from home. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Furcal, and the count is even 2-2.
Let's take a look at the scouting report on Adam Wainwright for this ball game today. A 4-pitch mix, fastball, curveball, slider change. He'll sink his fastball, cut it. Has to be careful against the lefties. They've hit him at a 275 clip this year, and much like Chris Carpenter last night, he has been extremely good on the road this year. The 12-1 record away from Busch Stadium.
And working against Rafael Furcal with the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Furcal, who had 3 hits and 4 trips last night, has hit Wainwright extremely well. 7 for 16 with 3 runs batted in. That comes out to a .438 average. Two pitch, reaching out, and again a foul ball.
In the games I've seen Adam Wainwright pitch in the fast, the first inning is kind of an audition. He goes out there and he tries to mix in all of his pitches, see what's working well, and then he'll go with that early in the ball game, knowing full well that at some point he's going to have all 4 of his pitches going well.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Foul ball. And for those of you just joining us from that Rockies-Phillies battle, welcome to Los Angeles. Dick Stockton along with Bob Brenly and Tom Verducci. The Dodgers are batting in the bottom of the first inning. The leadoff hitter Rafael Furcal against Adam Wainwright. And on the 2-2 pitch, a pop-up. And Albert Pujols makes the catch for out number 1. And Clayton Kershaw, the Dodger pitcher, retired the Cardinals in order. And last night's hero, Matt Kemp, getting a hand as he comes to the plate. Matt Kemp erased a 1-0 Cardinal lead in the bottom of the first in a hurry after Furcal singled. Kemp hit a 2-run homer, and the Dodgers never trailed.
And as odd as it sounds, that 2-run home run in the first inning after the Cardinals had taken a 1-0 lead gave the Dodgers their 43rd come-from-behind victory of the season. Even if it happens in the first inning,
it still counts as a come-from-behind win, as the curveball is over from Wainwright. 19-8 on the year, winningest pitcher in the National League, and the fastball inside 1-1. Two balls and a strike to Matt Kemp. Will be followed by Andre Ethier. Adam Wainwright, as Bob has pointed out, 233 innings pitched this year, and led the Cardinals with 212 strikeouts. 2-2. Time now for the big hit, brought to you by Hass Avocados. And it was the 2-run homer, a line shot into the center field bleachers last night to give the Dodgers a 2-1 lead. It remained close. The Dodgers at one point led 5-2 and won it by a 5-3 score. And striking out on the breaking ball is Kemp, and that's the second out in the Dodger first.
I mentioned a moment ago that Wainwright will change speeds on both his breaking pitches. The big slow curveball and the hard slider. He'll throw them at varying speeds, and rarely do hitters see two curveballs in a sequence that come up there and look exactly the same, because he will change speeds. He'll shorten them up a little bit. He'll bounce them in the dirt. Very tough customer.
So Kemp going down, and here is Andre Ethier. Both Kemp and Ethier drove in over 100 runs this year. And Ethier was 2 for 3 with a double, scored a couple of runs and drew a walk. So he too had a good night. 1 ball, no strikes, the count with 2 down. 2-0.
First changeup of the game we've seen from Adam Wainwright. That's a pitch that he'll use mostly to left-handed hitters. He will occasionally show it to a right-handed hitter, but that's a pitch that he usually saves for the lefties. Two
balls and a strike to Ethier. Only once this year have both Carpenter and Wainwright lost back-to-back games. So when you want to talk about stoppers, the Cardinals really in effect have a pair of them. There's Carpenter looking on the right. Was not as effective as Cardinal fans are used to seeing from the popular right-hander. And a fastball, strike 3, and Ethier goes down looking. So Adam Wainwright strikes out 2, a 1-2-3 inning. And we go to the second, no score. So toward the latter part of the game, there could be some problem, mostly affecting hitters, Bob, I guess, with the sun and the shadows.
Yeah, the shadows are going to move out across home plate. The pitcher will be standing in the bright sunlight, as well as the hitter's eye behind the pitcher. So I would anticipate both teams are going to try to score a run early in this ball game, thinking it's going to be tough to score later in the game.
And that's what Matt Holliday may have on his mind as he fouled off the fastball for a strike. Matt Holliday Took a called third strike with the bases loaded and none out last night, and that was a critical juncture. And a fly ball hit deep to left field. Manny Ramirez going back and looks up, and it is gone. A home run for Matt Holliday, and the Cardinals take a 1-0 lead. So Matt Holliday, who hit 13 homers and drove in 55 runs in 63 games with the Cardinals, the big acquisition in July from the A's. St. Louis leads 1-0.
Well, he kept his hands back well on that big curveball right in the middle of the plate to Matt Holliday. That big high leg kick really extended his swing, caught that curveball out in front of home plate, and in day games the ball will carry here at Dodger Stadium. Ryan Ludwig taking ball one. So the Cardinals needing an early boost, as you mentioned, to score early. Could be their benefit, the way the shadows could be a factor later, as Ludwig with a big cut and a foul ball, and it's 1-1. Well, it's been a big drought for Pujols and Holliday in the long ball department. Yeah, you see what they did in their last 22 games going into play today. And we asked Tony La Russa about that, and he thought that since the Cardinals clinched their division so early, that Pujols and Holliday were both going after some personal milestones. Albert trying to get to 50 home runs. He got stuck on 47. Holliday got stuck on 99 RBI. He felt that they were going outside what they had done all year, trying to reach those milestone numbers. And in fact, if you look at Pujols, Holliday, and Ludwig, they have had huge droughts in the last 22 games of the regular season. Only 3 home runs from the heart of the order. And a fastball on the outside corner. 2-2 to Ludwig. Ludwig 2 for 4 and knocked in the first Cardinal run with a bloop single to center field, only to see it erased in a hurry by Matt Kemp's 2-run homer. Slowly hit to third base, charging it barehanded and unable to make a play is Casey Blake, and Ludwig is on with an infield hit. Maybe an ill-advised barehanded attempt by Casey Blake down there at third base. It looked like he might have had time to glove and throw across. That ball hit him right in the middle of the palm and bounced up against his chest, and Ludwig will reach with an infield single. So still nobody out. Holliday leading off with a home run, and Ludwig on board for Yadier Molina. And Molina going down to confer with the third base coach Jose Oquendo. We have Mark Derosa on deck. We'll see if what the Cardinals have in store to try to get Ludwig into scoring position. Generally, you don't bunt runners into scoring position for the bottom of your order, but let's see how Tony plays it. We mentioned that you want to get as many points on the board as you can early with those shadows factoring in later. No indications of a bunt there. Taking it for ball one outside as Molina steps out and gets the sign from Oquendo. You know, a lot of the signs that Jose Oquendo gives down in that third base coach's box are just decoys. If you watch the runner Ludwig at first base, after Oquendo finished his signs, he immediately looked into the dugout. Sometimes Oquendo will go through his series of signs. Everybody watches him intently, and then the sign is given from the dugout after the batter is back in the box. Well, they're acting it out pretty well as Molina still staring down Oquendo, who still flashes the signs with the count 2-0. Two balls and a strike now to Molina, with Derosa waiting on deck. And this is a 5-act drama here on every pitch, as Molina again checking with Kendo. And don't forget, they met halfway even before Molina stepped into the batter's box. The count is 2 balls and a strike. And swinging away all the way evens the count on the foul ball 2-2. Boy, and we saw Kershaw just rear back and throw a fastball by Yadier Molina in that 2-0 count. That's something Kershaw has been exceptional at this year. The National League average on a 2-0 count for hitters in the National League, a .369 batting average. Against Kershaw, hitters have hit .222 in 2-0 counts.
Gives you an idea what this 21-year-old possesses. And there is a looper into left field, and for call, chasing it, can't make the play. It's a base hit, and moving to second is Ryan Ludwig. So a loop single off the fist of Yadier Molina, and the Cardinals have runners in first and second, still nobody out. Today's leaderboard is brought to you by John Hancock, and the focus is on Clayton Kershaw. Batting average against 200, and that's the tops in the National League. So all of the indications, Bob Brenly, from what you have said for the 21-year-old is an incredible future lies ahead.
I don't think there's any question about it. Obviously, you have to issue the caveat if he stays healthy. That's a major thing for a pitcher at this level.
Mark Derosa, the hitter, with runners at first and second, nobody out. A run in on the home run by Holiday. Check swing, but he went around for strike one. Derosa 3 for 5 last night. Had a run batted in and also a double.
And Derosa, very similar to Matt Holliday in that he can extend his swing on that Clayton Kershaw breaking pitch. I think Kershaw would be better served going after Derosa with hard stuff in this situation. High fastball right there.
Foul tipped into Russell Martin's glove, and it's 0-2.
It's such a tantalizing pitch when you see that fastball up there around the letters, but very few hitters in the National League can get on top of that heater and do any kind of damage.
Ryan Ludwig with the lead at second. Yadier Molina on at first. And up and in, and that moves Derosa back. By the way, Mark Derosa last night suffered a cut on the middle finger of his right hand in the second inning when a throw over to first base. James Loney got a cleat in the way, and he has been playing with the torn tendon sheath on his left wrist. But he is a battler indeed, and Derosa hanging in there with the count 1-2. High and away, 2-2. Here's that play from last night.
They just got tangled up over there at first base. Derosa kind of stuck his hand underneath the cleat of James Loney, suffered a cut. And I'm sure that affected that throw you were talking about when he tried to start a double play and fired the ball out into right field.
Fortunately, did not get charged with an error as Ramirez was going to second base, and Derosa, we talk about elevating the pitches, strikes out on a high fastball for out number one.
Well, I'll tell you, just watching that at bat, Dick, it's pretty apparent that the Dodgers want to attack Mark Derosa up. That was actually a slider. I'm not so sure he wanted to throw it that high, but when you get a swing and a miss on a hanging breaking ball like that, and you see the defensive swings Derosa took on high fastballs, I have to believe Kershaw's going to go right back there against Derosa next time.
Here is Colby Erasmus, the only left-handed hitter in the Cardinal lineup today, the rookie center fielder. 1 for 2, scored a run and had a double in his first postseason appearance. So the Cardinal rookie now playing back-to-back games, starting in center field once again. Dodgers looking for the ground ball and the double play to get them out of the inning. This fastball rides inside to Rasmus, and it's 2-0. Kershaw's a native of Dallas. This is his third season. He was drafted in the first round in 2006. And the 21-year-old left-hander. His first major league start was right here against the Cardinals in May of 2008, and he was hit hard. 6 innings, giving up 5 hits and a foul out of play, and Pujols got the first hit off of him in his debut.
Went to Highland Park High School in Dallas, Texas. That's also the alma mater of San Diego Padre right-hander Chris Young, and he said they worked out together when Kershaw was still in high school, and he picked the brain of Chris Young every opportunity he could get about what it was all about pitching in the big leagues.
Ground ball, and for call, over to Belliard and a made-to-order double play. And the Dodgers get out of it, but the leadoff home run by Matt Holliday here in the second inning, giving the Cardinals a 1-0 lead. Dodgers coming up in the bottom of the second inning. Manny Ramirez will be leading off, followed by James Loney and Casey Blake. Manny had one hit last night. It was a double in the fourth inning, but has now hit safely in all 9 Dodger postseason games since he joined the club last year. Wainwright with the breaking ball and a strike, foul tipped into Molina's glove. One strike. Dodgers are waiting and hoping for Manny to explode, as he did when he carried them into postseason last year. A broken back ground ball to Ryan, playing deep and in perfect position to throw out Ramirez for out number 1. Well, the victory by the Dodgers last night, when a lot of people thought the Cardinals would win, obviously has helped their confidence. Let's welcome in Sports Illustrated's Tom Verducci.
Well, Dick, this is 2 straight games now where the Dodgers fell behind first the National League ERA champion and now the National League leader in wins. But the vibe of this team is that they don't worry about who's pitching or whether they're underdogs or not. I asked Randy Wolf if they were bothered that the LA Times picked the Cardinals in 3 games, and he said, "Are you kidding me? Ignorance is bliss, and in this clubhouse, there's a lot of bliss."
It sure is. James Loney takes strike 1 with 1 out.
I think that's a perfect statement there. I mean, as much as we try to analyze and overanalyze and grind the numbers, the players understand that you have to go out on the field and play. And anything can happen when you step in that batter's box. Anything can happen when you step on that mound. So the players don't get too overly concerned with who's the favorite.
1 ball and 1 strike. And a pop foul chasing it is Derosa out of play. And in fact, it was interesting. Matt Kemp was asked, were you intimidated by Chris Carpenter? He said, I play baseball too. I'm not intimidated. I play the game. And sometimes those experts, and he said, well, you got Carpenter and Wainwright, 1-2 pitchers. Cardinals could win the first 2 games, but Carpenter wasn't on his game, and the Dodgers took advantage of it.
There are probably more uncontrolled variables in the game of baseball than any other professional sport.
The 1-2 pitch to James Loney, off speed outside, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Loney 2 for 4 last night. Pair of singles and also drew a walk. Fouls off the 2-2 pitch.
Dick, we've talked about the shadows, and they are gradually working their way out near the home plate area, but also it's going to affect the defenders. You see the guys on the right side of the field. Pujols and Lugo, and out in right field, Ryan Ludwig, their shadows extending straight out behind, and they're looking right up into the afternoon sun.
And a ground ball handled by Pujols, who'll make the play unassisted for the second out. Well, Adam Wainwright against the Dodgers. 2-2 in 5 starts in his career. And 1.20 earned run average this year in 2 starts. And his last outing worked 7 innings, gave up 2 home runs. But Adam Wainwright, who of course knew what the pressure pitching was all about when he earned the clinching save in the World Series in Game 5 in 06 against Detroit. Now, of course, the starter. So he was the closer then, and perhaps a Cy Young Award winner now.
And he really speaks highly of the experience he had closing for the Cardinals back then. He says he takes the same mentality into his starts. Said early in his career he tried to pace himself too much, trying to work deep into the ball game, but his experience that he had in the bullpen, where you just go after every hitter and every out, is huge. He's taken that same mentality out to the mound as a starting pitcher.
He struck out 2 batters in the first inning, and the count is 1-1 on Blake, who has hit a home run against Wainwright earlier this year. Just got a piece of that, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
A very hittable slider right there in the middle of the plate, fouled off. I'll tell you, any opposing hitter against Adam Wainwright, you better take advantage of the mistakes that he makes, because he makes so few of them.
Missing outside with the curveball, and count 2 balls and 2 strikes. 6'7" Adam Wainwright, native of Brunswick, Georgia, and a possessor of composure and guts, which really impresses Tony La Russa. Line shot by Blake to Derosa will end things in the second. So 6 up, 6 down for the Dodgers as the Cardinals come up in the third. Goodyear, new Fuel Max tires help you to get there on less gas. Calculate your savings at GoodyearTires.com. Tom O'Keefe is our Blink cameraman, getting that beautiful vista of you of the Dodger Stadium and the pilots, Matthew St. John and Nathan Brooks. The same tandem that piloted the ship last night.
I think you left your lights on, Dick. That one car in the lot there.
At least my motor, well, it doesn't matter. The battery may run dead anyway. You'll help me.
Yeah, sure.
Huh? Adam Wainwright goes around, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike to Wainwright, who is hitting 180, 16 hits and 89 trips to the plate. Does have 2 home runs, 4 runs batted in, 5 doubles and a triple. This is on the fastball, 1-2.
Well, and if the Cardinals hope to run up a pitch count on Clayton Kershaw, they need to lay off of that high fastball. As I said before, a very tempting pitch. It looks so big out of his hand, but so very tough to catch up to. Here's another one.
2-2 to Wainwright, followed by the top of the order, Julio Lugo, and then Brendan Ryan. There's Lugo, who's getting the start today. Foul back. Wainwright is making Kershaw work a bit here, leading off in this 3rd inning.
Well, any manager likes it when your pitcher is a weapon offensively, but at worst, you want to make that opposing pitcher throw a lot of pitches to get you out.
And a line drive foul into the stands. So Wainwright coming back, and interesting, the pressure or responsibilities on both of these pitchers. Wainwright to try to even the series before it goes to St. Louis, and then Kershaw said the biggest game he pitched was last week, and this may top that as far as significance for sure. Full count now to his opposite number, Adam Wainwright. The 8th pitch to Wainwright, and he gets a piece of it, hits a fly ball to right center field. The sun affecting Andre Ethier as he makes the catch for the first out here in the 3rd inning. Well, visit TBS Hot Corner at MLB.com/TBS Hot Corner to sign up and watch live companion coverage of this game and every MLB postseason game. And Bob, earlier this year, doing a game out here that started maybe a couple of hours before this start, proved really troublesome for a lot of the outfields, including Matt Kemp, who misjudged a fly ball in right field. Here's Lugo, hits one down the right field line. This could be trouble, and it is a fair ball into the corner. Lugo on his way to second as Ethier gets it in, and the Cardinals have their 4th hit of the game, a 1-out double by Lugo here in the 3rd.
Julio Lugo, one of those hitters that will hit the ball to all parts of the park. That was actually a fastball down and in, kind of a slicing line drive down that right field line. Ethier crashes into that sidewall to make sure the ball does not get by him and allow Lugo to go to 3rd, possibly further. As it is, holds him to a double here with 1 out in the inning.
And Dana DeMuth, who was the home plate umpire last night, right on top of it down the right field line. Here's Brendan Ryan, called out on strikes in the 1st inning. Kershaw has struck out 2, steps off the rubber, and getting back is Lugo, and neither Belliard or Furcal shading over there.
Yeah, Kershaw, for a young pitcher, has a pretty good feel for keeping base runners close to the base. Only 6 stolen bases against him this season, 7 caught stealing, and you saw that little inside move to second base right there just to make sure Lugo wasn't taking off on first move.
That was a breaking ball into the dirt, and 1-0 the count to Ryan. Talked about many of the Cardinals from Southern California, and of course Randy Wolf from Woodland Hills, who played in a championship game here. So did Brendan Ryan, lost the California State High School Championship right here in 2000, playing for Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks. Lugo with the lead off second, and the pitch missing again. 2-0 now to Ryan, and Albert Pujols on deck. Ryan has to figure he's going to get a good pitch to hit here. With the powerful Albert Pujols waiting. Bluffin now sliding back to second is Lugo.
And even if it's not a pickoff attempt at second base, if you can shorten up that runner's lead by a step, it's going to make it a lot tougher for him to score from second base on a base hit to the outfield.
And on the inside corner, good pitch by Kershaw. 2 balls and a strike to Ryan. And the 50th pitch thrown by Kershaw. As you pointed out, Bob, the plan for the Cardinals is to force the Dodgers to go to their bullpen early, even though they did so to much success last night. A line foul to the right field stands.
Yeah, even though it worked out well for the Dodgers last night, Jeff Weaver and Belisario coming in and giving some quality innings before you got to the scripted part of the bullpen for Joe Torre, I still think that should be the game plan for the Cardinals. Try to get into that middle relief as early as possible.
And the crowd starts to get revved up in this Southern California sunshine, waving their towels and flags. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ryan with 1 out. And a grounded to third, gloved by Blake. The runner stays at second, and Ryan is retired for out number 2. And Lugo, of course, no choice but to remain at second. That'll bring up Albert Pujols with an opportunity here.
Maybe with an opportunity. 2 intentional walks in the ball game last night. He led the world in intentional walks during the regular season. I don't think he's going to get a chance.
So he'll be intentionally passed for the 45th time. And that is a career high and a franchise record, and the most ever for a right-handed batter. 45 intentional walks. Now Barry Bonds in 3 years got 60 or more, and Willie McCovey was walked 45 times in 69. So there's the respect that the whole league, especially Joe Torre, has for Pujols. And they're going to pitch to Matt Holliday, who homered.
And I have a feeling if Albert continues to swing the bat the way he has throughout the first 9 years of his career, that intentional walk number will go up.
Matt Holliday leading off the second inning for the Cardinals, giving them the lead and the only run in the game. Now 5 for 11 against Kershaw. So Lugo with the lead at second. Pujols is on at first with 2 down. Lugo and Pujols on base. And ball 1 to Holliday. So here's how the Cardinals got their run. And a fly ball to left field off close to the end of the bat over the fence. And Manny Ramirez watches it get out of here. And so Holliday, the big addition for the Cardinals, protection for Pujols in the lineup with the home run. And a ground ball. Blake spins his way and makes the play for out number 3. So the Cardinals leave 2 on base. And in the middle of the third inning here at Dodger Stadium, St. Louis leading 1-0. Game 2 of this best-of-5 series. The scene shifts to Busch Stadium in St. Louis for games Saturday, Sunday if necessary, and returns Tuesday here to LA if it goes 5. Adam Wainwright, the first pitch to Ronnie Belliard, misses for ball 1. Belliard with a big night last night. And a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike. Belliard to reach base 3 times with a single and 2 walks and scored a run. He has a home run against Wainwright. This time he lines a drive, and it is caught by Ryan Ludwig, as Dana DeMuth had to make sure that the ball stayed in the glove and wasn't trapped, and a fine play by Ludwig and Wright.
Boy, and another great approach by Ronnie Belliard at the plate after striking out in his first 2 plate appearances last night. He got a base hit to right field and then lines this one to right. Looked like a base hit. Ryan Ludwig with a great diving catch to take extra bases away from Ronnie Belliard.
And the Cardinals have had outstanding outfield defense. And even when Rick Ankiel is out there, they get some terrific plays. Here's Russell Martin, the Dodger catcher, fouls off the first pitch for strike 1.
Yeah, Ryan Ludwig out there in right field in 139 games this year made only 1 error. Very solid defensive outfield all the way around.
One out and a broken back grounder to shortstop, and Ryan, who's playing on the edge of the outfield grass, makes the play for out number 2. Caught up with the Cardinal manager Tony La Russa, who got the lead with Matt Holliday, and the thought about the fact that we're shaping up as a pitcher's duel this afternoon.
Well, we hope it doesn't come back to haunt us. You know, we had a couple of bad chances. We didn't put the ball in play. Mark usually does, and Kobe hit the ball sharp, and we missed there. But you know, we're taking good at bats, and that's where it starts.
Hey, Tony, we've talked a lot about the shadows as they continue to move out toward the pitcher's mound. How can a pitcher best take advantage of those shadows? Is he better off throwing more fastballs or more off-speed pitches?
I think you just got to mix them up. I mean, this league, if you're just sitting out there pounding fastballs, I don't care what the shadows are, they get a glimpse, they can time it. If you mix them up, I mean, it's going to be working the the pitcher's advantage.
Hey, Tony, thanks a lot. 1 ball and 1 strike to Kershaw, and he lifts a fly ball to right field. And battling the sun is Ludwig, who makes the catch. So the first 9 Dodgers are retired by Adam Wainwright, and the Cardinals come up in the 4th, still leading 1-0. Angels, game 1 of the American League Division Series. John Lester, the left-hander, gets the nod. And John Lackey will be pitching for the Angels. And the Angels trying to break the jinx because the Red Sox have had their number in postseason play. And this was the look on the front page of the Los Angeles Times yesterday. Baseball in 2 stadiums, and the roads are filled with cars. Exciting time for baseball here in Southern California as Ryan Ludwig leads off in the 4th inning. He was safe on an infield hit in the 2nd inning. And the count 1-1 to Ludwig. Ludwig had 22 homers and 97 runs batted in this year, but as many of the Cardinals fell down in the last couple of weeks with 2-12. Great stop by Loney, and he makes the play for out number 1 in the 4th. And Joe Torre, the Dodgers manager, and his take of the early going of this game this morning.
Well, you know, Wainwright seems a little sharper than Carpenter that did yesterday, but again, we have to stay with our plan. We have to make them work, make them throw strikes, make adjustments on our side if we have to. I think the most important thing right now is Kershaw. I mean, he needs to keep us right there because you certainly don't want to climb a tall mountain at this point.
Yeah, looking at the big picture, Joe, not only the start today for Clayton Kershaw, but this is a real good-looking young pitcher. Who have you seen in the past that he reminds you of? You
know, Bobby, I've been trying to figure it out. I don't really know. I mean, I used Koufax, which I wanted to bite my tongue after I did it, but. You know, I don't think I've ever seen that look in a pitcher, especially a pitcher's eyes at this age. I mean, he gets beat around and has some bad outings, and you know, next time out, it's not hoping things get better. He works at getting better. So he's pretty unique.
Great, Joe. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
And there is the great uniform number 32, one of many retired by the Dodgers. I don't know if there was a better left-hander ever to pitch in baseball than Sandy Koufax, as Molina was retired by Kershaw, and the count is 1-0 to Mark Derosa, who struck out his first time up. 2-0 now. I don't know who is a more devastating southpaw than Sandy Koufax.
Well, some hitters would say Randy Johnson was no trip to the beach to face, and I never had the opportunity to see Warren Spahn, but I have to believe he would be right up near the top of the list as well.
You, of course, managed Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling. Pop up. Second baseman Ronnie Belliard is there, and a 1-2-3 inning for Clayton Kershaw. Only 9 pitches thrown by the left-hander. Here at Dodger Stadium, the Dodgers batting in the bottom of the 4th inning against Adam Wainwright. Rafael Furcal 0 for 1 and takes strike 1 from Adam Wainwright, who has retired the first 9 hitters he's faced. Only 2 fly balls hit, both in the last inning, and one very nearly fell in for a hit. A great catch made by Ryan Ludwig in right field. Both the strikeouts came in the first. Ball strike 2, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wainwright was an all-state performer in baseball and football. He was a wide receiver and a place kicker in football. Backhanded nicely by Pujols. And Furcal is retired 1 away as we see the shadows really enveloping the infield as we check in again with Tom Verducci.
Well, guys, Tony La Russa has managed more games than John McGraw. He's picked up a thing or two in that time. One thing he did on his workout day on Tuesday, he started the workout at exactly the same time as the first pitch of Game 2, so his hitters could get used to the lighting conditions. But he did say he was concerned about the power arms in the Dodger bullpen as those shadows came across the field. Also, we talk a lot about hitters and pitchers. Right field becomes a much more difficult position to play as that sun gets lower later in the game.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. And of course, Tony La Russa now second behind Connie Mack in the most games managed in Major League history. 0-1 pitch to Matt Kemp, who struck out his first time up, and Wainwright's ahead of him here, 0-2. Cardinals are 28 and 30 in day games, but on the road they are 16 and 14, so they have a winning record on the road in day games, as the count is 1-2 now to Kemp with 1 out. And Kemp strikes out for the 2nd time and the 3rd strikeout of the game. Well, before the game, George Lopez got a great ovation from the crowd, very popular here, and threw out the first ball. And we want to remind you, November on TBS, wake up. George Lopez is bringing the party back to late night. Lopez tonight, weeknights at 11 o'clock, 1 Central, starting November 9th, only on TBS.
Well, you saw that pitch on Pitch Tracks. I hope he was using that to set up the next pitch. That was way out of the zone.
I got to see that pitch dissected a little more here. Andre Ethier, the batter, 1-0 to him. He took a called 3rd strike to end the 1st inning and hits a shot to center field. Colby Rasmus way back there, looking up, and it's gone. Ethier homers to tie the game. Hit his first career postseason home run, and today Andre Ethier does. And the Dodgers have tied it up 1-1 on a 2-out home run deep to center field.
Ethier was 5 for 16 against Wainwright during the regular season with the home run.
So now he is at 2 off of Wainwright. So Adam Wainwright retired the first 11 batters he faced, and the Dodgers finally get a base runner, a hit, and a run in with 1 swing.
Ball down and out over the plate a little bit for Andre Ethier. I guarantee you, if he hits that same ball at night, it probably doesn't get out of here. But in the daytime, the ball carries considerably better here at Dodger Stadium.
So here's Manny and the crowd yelling for him as he takes strike 2, 0-2 to Ramirez.
A great extension on that swing. Caught it right off the barrel of the bat. Very little doubt about that one.
22 home runs this year at Dodger Stadium, the most by a left-handed batter in history of this storied ballpark. And Ground ball by Ramirez, and Pujols to Wainwright covering ends the fourth, but cheers at Dodger Stadium because of Andre Ethier's first postseason home run to tie the game with 2 out. 1-1 as we go to the 5th. One to one into the 5th. Colby Rasmus. There is Ethier, who, like Matt Kemp, last night's hero, driving in over 100 runs. First tandem to do it for the Dodgers since 2000. Gary Sheffield and Sean Green that year. Rasmus takes a ball 1-1 to the Cardinal rookie. Clayton Kershaw now has the game all even. Now back, he has allowed 4 hits, has walked only 1. That was an intentional pass to Pujols. So he has done well in the control department and has struck out 2. Pujols with a little late afternoon snack. Breaking pitch, and Rasmus fouls it off. Colby Rasmus making his second straight start in center field, was the youngest opening day player for the Cardinals since Pujols himself in 2001. Albert was 21 at the time, and Rasmus was 22. Adam Wainwright waits on deck, and then the top of the order with Julio Lugo to follow. Ryan O'Nora is the home plate umpire. Mike Everett is at first today. Jeff Nelson at second. Ed Rapuano is at third. Tony Randazzo down the left field line, and the seeing Dana Demuth down the right field line as Rasmus fouls it off again. Count remains 1-2. And here they are. Onora in his 12th year. And a line drive base hit for Rasmus. So he has a hit in each of the first 2 games of this series. A leadoff single here in the 5th inning. Time now for Moments That Changed the Game. Brought to you by Viagra. And it was 50 years ago Thursday. That was Larry Sherry. Game 6 of the World Series. The Dodgers against the White Sox. Luis Aparicio flies out, and that does it. Sherry was the MVP with 2 wins and 2 saves. And the Dodgers win their 2nd World Championship and their 1st since moving to Los Angeles. Getting back safely is Rasmus. Dodgers won one championship in Brooklyn, that in 1955. They moved to Los Angeles and played the first few years at the LA Coliseum, so they had crowds of over 90,000 for that series with the White Sox. Finished 7th in their first year here in LA and then won the World Series. Good bunt by Wainwright. The sacrifice is perfect. And Loney over to Belliard covering, moves Rasmus to 2nd. 1 away.
And once again, that same sacrifice bunting form that we saw from Chris Carpenter in the ball game last night. The Cardinals like to show bunt early, bring the bat back as the pitcher gets into a set position, and then either bring the bat back around and put down the sac bunt or possibly swing away, depending on what Tony La Russa wants to do offensively. Perfectly executed that time by Wainwright. He had 6 sacrifice bunts during the regular season.
Last night Carpenter had a sacrifice, but also was foiled on his first attempt. He struck out, and Julio Lugo takes a pitch for a ball. Lugo doubled back in the 3rd inning, and the Cardinals left 2 on base. And you see the shadows continuing and the big sun field out in right field. Tony La Russa was talking about missed opportunities already by the Cardinals today. There's a call strike 1-1. Last night, as you know, you may not know because the game ended very late, 30 left on base. That was the most men left on base in all of postseason baseball, whether it's a World Series, Championship Series, or Division Series, ever in a 9-inning game.
The Dodgers left the bases loaded 3 times in the ball game last night. 2 other innings they left 2 men on, and for the Cardinals 4 times they left 2 men on, and once the bases loaded.
And a fastball and a strike, and Kershaw has a hit on the count to Lugo. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Last night the Cardinals were 3 for 13 with runners in scoring position. So far today they're 0 for 4. Lugo strikes out for out number 2. That'll bring up Brendan Ryan.
Well, all 3 strikes that at bat came on the slider. I mentioned at the top of the show, it's kind of a work in progress for Kershaw. Some days he has a real good feel for it. Other days it's just not there for him. He looks like he's got a lot of confidence in his breaking pitches here today to go along with that high 90s fastball.
So Kershaw, after giving up the leadoff single by Rasmus after Adam Wainwright's sacrifice, Lugo a strikeout victim, and here's Brendan Ryan, who struck out looking in the 1st and then bounced to Blake at 3rd. 1-0 the count to Brendan Ryan.
Of course, Brendan Ryan trying to make something happen offensively right here, but Tony La Russa was raving about the range of Brendan Ryan at shortstop. Tony's been very fortunate to have some great shortstops over the years, and he didn't want to put Ryan at the top of the list quite yet, but he thinks this young man's going to win some Gold Gloves.
1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 with 2 down to Brendan Ryan, and a big man for Kershaw to handle here with Albert Pujols on deck. Out of play. And the ball and 2 strikes. Tomorrow on TBS, the division series coverage continues. First up, the Twins take on the Yankees in Game 2 from New York. The Yankees winning, beating the Twins, who dramatically beat the Tigers in the tiebreak game. Then it's the Red Sox and the Angels in Game 2 of their series in Anaheim. Coverage will begin tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Eastern with TBS MLB on deck. Foul ball as Oquendo has to get out of the way. These Dodger fans seeing Joe Torre come to town after his great success with the Yankees, getting him into the playoffs last year, sweeping the Cubs in the division series, only to lose to the Phillies in 5 games in the championship series. Goes down. As the throw is made to first, so the leadoff single and the sacrifice goes for naught. And the game remains tied 1-1 as we move to the bottom of the 5th.
On deck circle, a rare show of emotion there as he pounded his glove as he came off the field. Albert will lead off the top half of the 6th inning for the Cardinals. The Dodgers will take their hacks here in the bottom of the 5th.
So Albert Pujols, and we're still looking to see Manny Ramirez and Albert Pujols get untracked in this playoff. The two vaunted weapons for both sides as James Loney steps in and takes ball 1 from Adam Wainwright here in the 5th inning. Manny Ramirez is 0 for 2 in the game, and Pujols is 0 for 1 with an intentional walk. As Bob said, he'll be up first in the 6th. There's a strike, 1-1. Loney bounced out to Pujols unassisted in his first trip to the plate. Ball and 2 strikes. Andre Ethier. Home run tied the game. That's been the only hit and the only base runner against Wainwright. Popped up toward the stands and drifting out of play.
You saw Ethier watching closely there as Loney takes his at bat. When you have a teammate in the lineup that's similar in style to you as a hitter, you pay a lot of attention to what that opposing pitcher does. Ethier was really studying Adam Wainwright out there as he went to work against James Loney.
Remember, Wainwright has a 1.20 earned run average in 15 innings, allowed only 2 runs against the Dodgers this year, and strike 3 as Loney goes down on a called 3rd strike. That is the 4th strikeout for Wainwright.
Boy, and he's really getting a good feel for that breaking ball. He's bouncing it in the dirt on 2 strike counts. Dropped that one right on the outside corner. He just has a real good feel for it today.
1 out to Casey Blake, who lined to Mark Derosa his first time up. And a call strike. Adam Wainwright, to show you how consistent he is, this year allowed 2 runs or less in 20 of his 28 starts. Two strikes now to Blake. Wainwright retired the first 11 batters he faced before Ethier homered to center field. And time called at home plate. Wainwright, 60 pitches thrown, and look at the ratio between balls and strikes. Dramatic. Here is Pujols, as he does, ranging wide at first base as he flips to Wainwright. Out number 2 as Blake is retired. And now here is today's Travelers mid-game recap. And there's the home run. First by Matt Holliday, leading off the second to give the Cardinals the lead. And then Andre Ethier with 2 out in the 4th inning ties it with a home run off of Wainwright. That's where we are. 1-1 with 2 out here in the 5th inning, and Ronnie Belliard, the batter. Belliard was robbed of a hit by Ryan Ludwig in right field his last time up. He takes strike 1. A great diving catch by Ludwig, as Bob pointed out, who had made only 1 error this year. And once again, Wainwright is ahead on the batter. No balls and 2 strikes to Belliard. It's interesting, Brendan Ryan has been playing very deep at shortstop throughout this game, and he is about 4 steps in the outfield grass. And a lot of the shots have been hit right to him, and they have been shots on the ground as Belliard strikes out. Strikeout number 5, and a 1-2-3 inning for Adam Wainwright. And after 4.5 innings, we're tied 1-1, and it's Pujols, Holliday, and Ludwig coming up for the Cardinals in the 6th. after 5 innings here in Game 2, with the Dodgers having won the opener 5-3. Boys and Girls Clubs of America is the official charity of Major League Baseball, reaching more than 4 million kids worldwide. Together, they create a positive place for kids. And we have kids of all ages, including some kids that are in their 30s and 40s here at Dodger Stadium, as Albert Pujols steps in against Clayton Kershaw. Takes ball 1. Pujols bounced out to Blake and then was walked intentionally. Strategy paying off as Kershaw got Holiday to bounce to third, as the Cardinals left 2 on base. 2-0 now to Pujols. So Albert 0 for 4 and 3 intentional walks thus far in this division series. And a 3-0 count now to the Cardinal first baseman, Matt Holliday, waiting on deck. In there for the strike. 3 balls and a strike now. 93 miles per hour.
You know, Dick, I mentioned earlier Kershaw had given up only a .222 opponent's batting average in 2-0 counts. On 3-1, the batting average is only 143.
And a line drive to left field in front of Manny Ramirez, and Albert Pujols has his first hit of the series, a leadoff single to start the 6th.
Kershaw maybe overthrowing a little bit as this at bat started for big Albert Pujols. He misses up high out of the strike zone with the first 3 fastballs, takes a deep breath, throws the 3-0 pitch right down the middle of the plate, and then on the 3-1 count elevates it just a little bit, but Albert able to tomahawk it into left field.
So let's see if the Cardinals can make it happen for them. Trailing in the series and 1-1 in the game is Matt Holliday, who led off the second inning with a home run to account for the Cardinal run. He bounced to third his last time. And diving back is Pujols.
Albert Pujols generates a tremendous amount of power, just picks up that front foot, puts it right back down again. That ball actually hit him down near the trademark of the bat and still was able to line it out into left field for a base hit.
And Holiday pops it up, and a play for Loney, straddling the line and makes the catch in fair territory for the first out. So Holiday goes down. And there's one gone, and Ryan Ludwig steps in. Was safe on an infield hit, a chopper to third that Blake tried to handle. And then Ludwig bounced to Loney unassisted. And Kershaw has done a terrific job of getting out of trouble in this game. In the second, when Holiday led off, they had 2 runners on, and Rasmus hit into an inning double play as Ludwig swings and misses. And then, of course, getting Holiday with 2 on in the 3rd inning. And once again in the 5th, after the leadoff single and the sacrifice, striking out both Lugo and Ryan.
Kershaw wise to pay attention to Albert Pujols over there at first base. He's very tough to run on because he unloads the ball so quickly to home plate, but Albert Pujols led this Cardinals team with 16 stolen bases this season. He really picks his spots well, but Kershaw paying him a lot of attention over there.
And a good lead over there by Albert. As Ludwig whiffs at that pitch, and no balls and 2 strikes, and steps out of the batter box to compose himself here with the count 0-2. Kershaw has struck out 4, 2 coming in the last inning. Ludwig stays alive.
Steady diet of breaking balls here in this at bat by Ryan Ludwig. A real good fastball hitter, and even with 2 strikes, he still can get on that fastball and drive it into right field. Kershaw and Russell Martin choosing to go the off-speed route this at bat. Elevated fastball.
And it just just misses. The ball and 2 strikes to Ludwig with Yadier Molina on deck. There's Molina. The Cardinals got 3 of their 6 hits in the game in the second inning after Holiday had homered. Ludwig and Molina back-to-back singles. And Kershaw got Derosa on a strikeout and then the double play. And the ball getting by Martin, and moving on to second base is Pujols. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. And it'll be a wild pitch, and that is the 12th wild pitch thrown by Kershaw this year.
Now, this Dodger staff was second in the National League in wild pitches on this season. That's a slider that Russell Martin was expecting down and in. Kershaw threw it to the outside part of the plate, and it just skipped underneath the glove of Martin all the way to the backstop.
So now the Cardinals have the go-ahead run in scoring position with 1 out, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ludwig, who drove in 97 runs this season. And a full count, 3-2, another close one. And Kershaw and the Dodgers and their fans wanted this one.
Right off the plate inside, but that is a tough take for any hitter. That fastball that is just inside off the plate, and a 2-strike count.
And the 3-2 pitch and a line drive to Blake, and the throw, and Ronnie Belliard was nowhere near second base, so Pujols gets back easily. But Ludwig is retired for the second out. Here in the 6th to bring up Yadier Molina.
Well, that ball was hit so hard, and Casey Blake got rid of it so quickly. Ronnie Belliard wasn't even in the vicinity of second base when he took that throw. Pretty good read by Albert Pujols, though. He was on his way back to the bag at second. He froze immediately on that line drive, which is what you're supposed to do. And I think even if Belliard got to the bag, Pujols was going to be safe.
Brings up Molina. 1 for 2. Hit to center field and sinking, and Matt Kemp makes the catch. Very difficult play for Matt Kemp, who stayed with it. So the leadoff base hit again. Cardinals can't take advantage of it. We go to the last of the 6th.
And you may have noticed Russell Martin has J. Martin on the back of his number 55 Dodger jersey. That's a salute to his mother's maiden name, Jensen. Russell's real given name is Russell Nathan Coltrane Jensen Martin.
Coltrane.
And that's a salute to his father, who was a jazz saxophonist and actually played the national anthem here at Dodger Stadium before a ball game.
He grew up in Quebec and spent 2 years between the ages of 8 to 10 in Paris. He also played junior hockey in Montreal. So you want to talk about worldly, you're looking at Russell Martin. No balls and 2 strikes. Fly ball right at Rasmus, and there's 1 out in the 6th inning. And here is Russell Martin Sr., who played the national anthem on the saxophone. That was on September 20th in 2006.
What a great moment.
Clayton Kershaw, fly to right his first time. Swings and misses for strike 1 here with 1 out in the 6th. One and one. Adam Wainwright retired the first 11 Dodgers before Andre Ethier tied the game with a 2-out homer in the 4th and is set down the next 5. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Foul ball. Clayton Kershaw, it's much of September with a separated non-throwing shoulder, and Tom Verducci came back later and was effective.
Yeah, he really was, and that might have been a blessing in disguise. A 21-year-old pitcher. Joe Torre was concerned, tried to find him days to skip him during the season, did not. That turned out to be a break, having those 17 days off. He came back and has pitched very well since then. In the last 12 innings of the season, he struck out 17 batters, and clearly here, Torre is leaving the game in his hands, knowing that Kershaw is nearing 100 pitches, but yet he's fresh and still throwing well.
Not only that, Tom, but Joe Torre admits the kid gloves were on him. He was trying to protect, insulate him. He was just a kid, but no longer. He's now in the glare of the big spotlight. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and up the middle, and backhanded by Lugo, and the throw is in time to get Kershaw for the 2nd out, and good hustle by Lugo way deep behind second.
Kershaw with a very defensive swing here, just kind of bunts it into play back up the middle of the field, and Lugo showing his range going out into shallow center field, throwing off balance. Good stretch by Albert Pujols over at first base to complete that 4-3 putout.
So the Cardinals have been impeccable in the field. And with 2 down, here's Rafael Furcal. Lugo, of course, started the season as a member of the Red Sox. Furcal is 0 for 2. Lugo, of course, traded for Chris Duncan, and that created a little difficulty in the Cardinal family, because Dave Duncan very upset at the fan reaction in St. Louis to Chris, who had been hurt and hadn't produced, and the fact that he was dealt away. And the quote from Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, was obviously someone in this organization wanted to see him out of here.
And some speculation that this may be Dave Duncan's last year as the pitching coach for the St. Louis Cardinals. If indeed that's the case, he will be the most highly sought after free agent this offseason.
And there's a shot hit to right field. Ludwig coming on in, plays it on a hop, gets away, and Furcal will go back to first base after taking the turn. So a tricky fly ball hit to right field, and the son also playing havoc with Ludwig. It's a single.
What appeared to be a routine fly ball into right field there, kind of an abbreviated swing by Rafael Furcal, but you could see Ryan Ludwig's first movement was back. And I'm sure that's a byproduct of looking right up into that afternoon sun. You get an idea of what Ludwig had to deal with there. Fortunately for Ludwig and the Cardinals, he's able to knock it down with his chest and hold for a call at first base.
That is the second hit, and there you get a good view of the way the right fielder is looking at the sun over the stands. And here is Matt Kemp. So 2-out base runner. And the second hit given up by Wainwright, second base runner as well. And Kemp, who has struck out twice today. The only sunshine affects the center fielder and the right fielder at this point. And Ethier would be next. One the score. Dodgers batting in the sixth. Pitchers duel in game 2. Furcal is 12 for 18 in stolen base tries. There you see that lead line and the 9 feet. Right over it right now. Runner doesn't go, and the pitch taken for the strike. 0-1.
Boy, Kemp has seen a steady diet of breaking balls in this game today. It's pretty apparent that Adam Wainwright has a good feel for that curveball, and the scouting report on Kemp is to take some of the sting out of his bat by throwing that big, slow breaking ball.
Time is called, and Molina goes to the mound.
Boy, that's almost a straight downer. That's what the ball players call a 12-6 curveball. If you can picture the hands on a clock, it breaks from 12 o'clock straight down to 6 o'clock. Not the hands on a clock, the numbers on a clock. And for those of you out there that don't know what a clock is in this digital age, that's one of those things where the hands go around. The big hand points toward the minutes, the small hand points toward the hours.
That's how it works.
Let your parents explain it to you.
Well, no, I'm glad you did to me just now. Always count on Bob Brinley to increase your know-how. No balls in a strike, and a broken bat roller toward the middle of the diamond. Brendan Ryan flips for the force to retire the side, as they just do get Rafael Furcal. That is the end of the 6th inning. We move to the 7th. 1-1 in game 2 here at Dodger Stadium. Tires.com. Bottom third of the order to face Clayton Kershaw here in the Cardinals' 7th inning. Mark Derosa, Colby Rasmus, and the pitcher spot Adam Wainwright. And Derosa takes ball 1. He has struck out and popped to Belliard at second.
And depending on how this inning develops, possibly a tough decision for Tony La Russa as well, given the fact that Adam Wainwright is pitching an outstanding ball game today.
Fly ball to right center field, and it's going to drop for a base hit. So Derosa with the leadoff single. It's the 3rd straight inning the Cardinals have led off with a base hit, and they have left 2 runners on and have not scored. There's Ronald Belisario, who pitched last night, warming up in the bullpen. Kershaw 7 times this year has worked 7 innings, and in that time is a 3-0 record and 4 no decisions. He has worked 8 innings on one occasion, that at St. Louis, and had no decision there. And the 100th pitch from Kershaw upcoming to Colby Rasmus. Fouls it back for a strike.
I mentioned possible tough decision for Tony La Russa, although the Cardinals have no activity in their bullpen. Just trying to look ahead with the leadoff hit by Derosa. Should Rasmus reach, maybe even hit an extra base hit, have runners at second and third, you might want to insert a pinch hitter right there to try to blow this game open, but nobody warming up for the Cardinals right now.
And it's a ball to Rasmus, 1 ball and 1 strike. Signs flashed by Tony La Russa, who has been known to wear the dark glasses at night as well as the afternoon to take care of the glare of the lights. 1-1 to Rasmus, who bounced into a double play and single to the opposite field. And the count now on the foul ball, 1-2. There is Oquendo getting the sign from the manager, La Russa, and Rasmus, the receiver. And a shot hit to center field. Matt Kemp is going way back. It's going to be over his head and off the base of the wall. Derosa rounds third. He'll come in. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's cut off. The throw to third. And Rasmus is out at third. But the Cardinals take a 2-1 lead on Rasmus's double. Driving in Derosa.
That ball was hit a long way. A middle of the plate fastball to Colby Rasmus. Caught it right on the sweet spot of the bat, chasing Kemp all the way back to the fence in straightaway center field. Mark Derosa had a tremendous read at first base. He was well around second base by the time that ball came down in center field. James Loney wisely cut that ball off and got Rasmus at third base because they had no play on Derosa. What a great read.
So the bases are empty, and there's 1 out to Adam Wainwright, who hits it in the air. Pop fly for Call makes the catch for the 2nd out. But the Cardinals with the go-ahead run here in the 7th inning. Belisario continues to throw in the bullpen.
The Dodgers execute this cutoff and relay about as well as you can. Kemp got rid of it quickly. Rafael Furcal with one of the strongest throwing arms of any infielder in baseball, but you could clearly see Derosa was already into his slide at home plate, so Loney cut it off. Got the runner trying to advance from second to third.
So the scoring goes 8-6-3-5 for the out at third. And here's Julio Lugo, who takes ball 1, and Tony La Russa's reaction to that play.
Tony probably wishes his runner would have stayed at second as Lugo lines one back up the middle for a base hit with 2 outs in there, rather with 1 out in the inning. Stay in scoring position at second base. Those are some of the youthful mistakes you have to live with sometime. I mean, Colby Rasmus had a great rookie season, but it's all part of the learning process.
And here comes Joe Torre, and that'll be all for Kershaw. And of course, if you want to follow the script, Lugo's base hit would have driven home Rasmus with another run, but who knows what would have happened. You can't assume that if he stays at second, the scenario would have followed. So Belisario will come in for the 2nd straight game. Clayton Kershaw will get an ovation as he leaves the mound. And the new pitcher for the Dodgers is rookie Ronald Belisario, who earned a hold in last night's game, pitching a scoreless 6th inning. Those are the numbers for Kershaw, and he's responsible for Lugo on at first base. 106 pitches and a fine performance. But the Cardinals get the go-ahead run. So here's Belisario, the big rookie from Venezuela, who made his first opening day roster, 69 appearances on the year.
You can see why the Dodgers are so excited about the future of Clayton Kershaw. He pitched himself into some jams today and then was able to pitch himself out of most of them.
Brendan Ryan will be the first to face Belisario. Ryan is 0 for 3, has struck out twice. That was against Kershaw. Throw to first base, getting back is Lugo. Fastball for a strike. 26 years old is Ronald Belisario, part of that deep bullpen core that the Dodgers have. So with 2 out, and of course Ryan becomes a key man with Pujols waiting to hit. Terrific performance by the Dodger bullpen last night, as each team used 5 relievers.
The Dodgers probably a little more accustomed to that kind of a workload. We talked about Joe Torre and his scripted bullpen at the end of a ball game. However, trailing by a run in this game, may not be able to follow the script that he normally does.
Holtz, who got his first hit in this series last inning, a single, would be next if Brendan Ryan can keep it going. The count is to 2 balls and 1 strike to the Cardinals shortstop. There goes Lugo. The throw to second, not in time. And Lugo is in with a stolen base. That is the first stolen base of the series. So the Cardinals have a runner in scoring position with 2 out, 3 and 1 to Ryan.
A great jump at first base by Lugo. Russell Martin threw out 31% of the attempted base stealers during the regular season, but his right-hander didn't give him much of a chance on Lugo that time.
Three balls and a strike to Brendan Ryan. And swings and lifts it in the air to center field. Matt Kemp goes back, makes the catch to retire the side, but the Cardinals get a run on Rasmus's double. Andre Ethier will lead off. He tied the game up in the 4th inning and comes up with the Dodgers trailing by a run going to the bottom of the 7th. National League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by BlackBerry. We're not finished with our baseball triple header here in the division series. Coming up next, it's game 1 between the Red Sox and the Angels from down the road in Anaheim. Last 3 postseason meetings, the Red Sox won all 3. If your initial is JL, you got a good chance of starting tonight's game. John Lester and John Lackey will face off as the Angels try to break their postseason Red Sox hex. It's next after our game right here on TBS. Meanwhile, the Dodgers trying to get even in this game as Belisario, after getting that last out, getting Ryan in relief of Kershaw. Now the Dodgers try to go on the attack, and who better than Andre Ethier, who homered to tie the game in the 4th inning at 1-1. First postseason homer and RBI. Will be followed by Manny Ramirez and James Loney. And facing Adam Wainwright and the Cardinals, getting someone up in their bullpen, Kyle Loesch.
Just a quick note on Andre Ethier before this at bat starts, Dick. The things we do as parents. Andre Ethier's father, Byron, back in Phoenix, Arizona, noticed as a youth player. Popped it up to the left side there before I could finish the story. But his father, Byron, noticed he was having trouble against left-handed pitching. His father was a natural right-hander, learned how to throw left-handed so he could throw batting practice to his son and help him improve his numbers against left-handed pitching.
Well, you're right. That's dedication by a parent that goes beyond the call. So Ethier retired. Big out for Wainwright. Doesn't get any easier as Manny Ramirez, who has hit the ball on the ground twice, 0 for 2. So he is 1 for 6 now in the series. In a 2-1 Cardinal lead. Jonathan Broxton, who picked up the save last night, is warming up here in the bottom of the 7th inning for the Dodgers. Big swing by Manny Ramirez. And
I think he got a piece of Yadier Molina with his backswing. Molina wearing that hockey-style catcher's mask, and it does have the protection on the back of the head, but you could really hear this as Manny finishes his swing.
Oh, wow.
Man, catches Molina right on the side of that hockey-style helmet.
Barry Weinberg, the chief athletic trainer for the Cardinals, ran out in a hurry, and Pujols is out there as well. Let's hear it.
Oh, man, that hurt. That's an occupational hazard as a catcher. Manny with that big long finish out behind his swing, takes the top hand off the bat, and unfortunately that time caught Molina right on the side of the head.
Well, as a former catcher, you can speak firsthand.
Well, and going back to the day, Dick, I used to catch just like that with a cloth hat underneath a mask. So one of those would have put a knot on my dome.
And I think it'll go away before long here.
Boy, Yadier Molina, an exceptional arm behind the plate. He's a natural-born catcher, comes from the Molina family of catchers, and is absolutely fearless behind the plate, as he just proved. Not only that, but fearless in throwing to the bases. 8 pickoffs this year.
Must be the best that Tony La Russa has ever had behind the plate.
And once again, he didn't want to commit to that, and so he didn't slight any of his former catchers. Mike Matheny was a great defender, as was Terry Steinbach in Oakland. But you could just tell by his tone of voice, there's something special about Yadier Molina.
And the interesting aspect is that Albert Pujols rushed out right behind Barry Weinberg to check on his teammate. Meanwhile, the count is a ball and 2 strikes. To Manny Ramirez with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Adam Wainwright has allowed 2 hits and only 2 base runners. And that pitch down low, so it's 2-2. 5 strikeouts for Wainwright. And of course, no walks. Broxton continues to throw for the Dodgers, and Kyle Loesch for the Cardinals.
seen this happen several times already in the first 2 games of this series when there's some indecision on the part of Yadier Molina and his pitcher out there on the mound of what exactly they want to do. Molina just calls timeout and goes out and talks it over with his pitcher.
So there's Loesch warming up in the bullpen, and of course the big question for the Cardinals with Kyle Loesch and John Smoltz, who is going to be used as a possible starter in Game 4. We know that Padilla and Pinheiro will pitch in Game 3. And so Tony La Russa kind of revealed something to us. Tom Verducci.
You're absolutely right, Dick. That is certainly a hint right there. Kyle Loesch will not be the Game 4 starter. If we do get to a Game 4, La Russa's decision is very complicated. Right now, he's leaning toward bringing Chris Carpenter back on 3 days rest, whether he's down 2-1 or up 2-1. Carpenter's made 260 career starts, none on short rest. Now, if Carpenter doesn't feel well tomorrow and doesn't feel physically able, then his option is John Smoltz. Now, obviously, this is assuming that Game 4 will be played. Guys?
Little caveat there by you, Tom. Thank you very much. And, of course, if the Cardinals win this game and they're leading 2-1, we will have a Game 4. And that would be Sunday. Saturday, Vicente Padilla for the Dodgers, Joel Pinheiro for the Cardinals. 3-2 and 1 out.
This is the longest at bat Manny Ramirez has had in the first 2 games of this division series. He's made a lot of very quick outs in his at bats up to this point, but getting a real good look this time at Adam Wainwright.
Jim Thome, who came up as a pinch hitter. And a lot of the Dodgers waiting by the railing, as the Cardinals are. And the crowd getting into it again. Another foul ball. Talking with Joe Torre about Manny Ramirez, who has had the hitting drought. If you look at Adam Wainwright's pitches by inning, now 87. That's pretty good to this point in the 7th inning. And he says, you know, if he would just go for the line drive instead of the big swing for the home run, if he goes for the line drive, he probably will hit a home run. Staying alive is Manny. So Wainwright has thrown 8 pitches to Manny Ramirez here as he approaches 90 in the game. Strikes him out on a curveball for out number 2. A called 3rd strike. That is the 6th strikeout of the game for Wainwright, and there are 2 down, and he gets a big hitter there.
Boy, what a sequence this was, as Adam Wainwright just keeps firing fastballs in there at Manny Ramirez, working him in and out, up and down. Bounced the 1 breaking ball right there on the 2-strike count. Comes back with a couple of more fastballs. Yeah, just about the time he thought Manny was starting to catch up with that heater, he drops another nasty curveball on that outside corner. Nothing Manny could do was stand there and watch it go by.
Here is James Loney with 2 down and nobody on, and the first pitch taken for a ball. Loney has bounced to first and took a called 3rd strike. He had 2 hits last night. So Manny Ramirez 0 for 3 in this game, and the count down 2-0 to Loney.
Well, and if you're Joe Torre, you have to take that as an encouraging at bat by Manny Ramirez. He saw a number of pitches. He took some good swings, fouled some tough pitches off before finally going down on the big curveball. But an extended at bat for Manny, making the opposing pitcher work, which is something the opposing pitchers have not had to do against Manny in the first 2 games.
And a line shot to left center field. Matt Holliday coming over to make the catch to retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning. So on 5 occasions, Adam Wainwright has retired the Dodgers in order as we go to the 8th. Suns. The NBA on TNT presents the Autotrader.com Open only on TNT. So the Dodgers look to Jonathan Broxton here in the 8th inning, and as we talked about last night, Bob, Broxton, who picked up the save, but facing the heart of the order, so this is where you want Broxton in the game.
No question about it. The combined hitters, Pujols, Holiday, and Ludwig, were 5 for 30 combined during the regular season against big Jonathan Broxton.
So Broxton gave up a run on 2 hits, but struck out 2 in an inning in the 3rd last night. Pujols singled his last time up, 1 for 2 with an intentional walk. And the pitch misses inside. Is now 2-0 to Pujols as the Cardinals look for an insurance run. 3 times this year that Broxton has pitched in back-to-back games after going more than 1 inning in the first of the 2, and twice he has earned a save in that second game. Of course, club is behind 2-1 here. And Pujols pops it up to the center of the infield. And Belisario makes the catch for out number 1 with Matt Holliday coming to the plate.
Boy, Albert Pujols obviously not swinging the bat the way he did throughout most of the regular season. Broxton misses away with a fastball, shows some respect by coming back with the slider on the 1-0 count, but a down and in fastball to Pujols, a pitch that he would normally scald, pops up harmlessly to the right side of the infield.
So Albert now 1 for 6 in this series, and Matt Holliday, who homered in the second inning to give the Cardinals a 1-0 lead, he's 1 for 3, and a ground ball to the left side for Call. Sets, throws out Holliday for out number 2. Right now, let's send it to our studios and Ernie Johnson. EJ. All right, Ernie, thank you very much. And John Lester, the left-hander, starting, and Josh Beckett, who has been their ace most of the year, has had some problems toward the end of the season. Won his last start, and he'll pitch in game 2 as the first pitch to Ludwig is down low, ball 1. And there is some of the traffic. Of course, at this time of day, the traffic is on every freeway going both ways. And we'll just tell you that a lot of those cars are going to the Angels-Red Sox game. And leave it at that.
A lot of free parking out there right now.
1-0 the count. Cue the traffic. Ludwig fouls it off, and the count is 1-1. That's easy to do here.
It sure is.
Ryan Ludwig was safe on an infield hit his first time up. Last time he lined to Blake at third. Cardinals have 9 hits in the game and have left 6 men on base. Leading 2-1, and they have had their share of missed opportunities for the second straight game. On the inside corner, good breaking ball, 1-2.
It's funny how this game works out, Dick. The base hit that Ludwig got in this game was a little topper for an infield hit. He scalded the ball to Loney at first for an out and scalded a line drive to third base for an out.
Now the crowd just wants Broxton to scald a fastball past Ludwig. In the dirt, and it's 2-2. Jonathan Broxton from Waynesboro, Georgia. 5-1 at home. That was his record, and an 0.40 ERA. And not giving up a home run this season at Dodger Stadium. Two and two to Ryan Ludwig. ball to Furcal. And Furcal makes the throw, and a 1-2-3 inning for Jonathan Buxton in the 8th. A 9-pitch inning, and the Cardinals still lead it 2-1. Nine Central only on TNT. Adam Wainwright coming out for the 8th inning, and Casey Blake will lead off, followed by Ronnie Belliard and Russell Martin, the scheduled hitters, against Wainwright, who has allowed two base runners, 2 hits, no walks, and has struck out 6. And John Smoltz begins to throw in the Cardinal bullpen, and the first pitch is in for a strike.
Well, the thing that's amazing about Wainwright in this ball game, he's only given up 2 base hits. There have only been a handful of hard hit balls against him. He's gotten either in on the hands of the Dodgers hitters or out near the end of the bat.
Blake hits it into the air to shallow center field, and Rasmus makes the play for the first out. Wainwright has retired the Dodgers in order in 5 innings today.
But he's working with great pace. We mentioned he changed his speeds on that breaking ball. He spotted his fastball on both sides of the plate, and he's been the beneficiary of some real nice defensive plays behind him.
There was that hook to Manny after all of those fastballs to set him up. Ronnie Belliard goes chasing, and it's 0-1 to Belliard. Saw that catch by Ludwig during that the replay moments ago. Belliard hit that ball that Ludwig made the diving catch. He's 0 for 2 on the day. 2 strikes, and making Belliard look a little foolish at the plate.
Back-to-back breaking balls to start the sequence, jumping ahead 0-2. Look at the break on that curveball. Ends up in the dirt over near the left-handed batter's box, and a very feeble swing and a miss that time from Belliard. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Throw him another one.
He does, and he gets it. 7 strikeouts for Wainwright, and there are 2 down.
Oh man, this curveball has been there for Adam Wainwright all day long. That one is right down the heart of the plate.
And of those 7 strikeouts, 4 have been looking. So here's Russell Martin with 2 down here in the 8th inning. And there's a ball hit to center field, and Martin with his first hit of the series. And it comes with 2 out. So the tying run is at first, and we're going to see a pinch hitter, and who else but the left-handed power hitter Jim Thome.
Attention, please, for the Dodgers, batting for Bronson, number 25, Jim Thome.
So Jim Thome, who last night struck out as a pinch hitter in the 6th inning. And 12th on the all-time home run list with 564. Now Smoltz sits down, and left-hander Trevor Miller begins to throw for the Cardinals. He too worked last night, and a short conference. 39-year-old Jim Thome, who came over on a trade from the White Sox on September the 1st at 23 homers for Chicago. Dodgers with 42 come from behind wins. And that, of course, includes last night when the come from behind happened in the 1st inning on Kemp's homer.
First at bat for Jim Thome in his career against Adam Wainwright.
Down low, ball 1. So the tying run at the plate, and the go-ahead run, or the tying run at first, I should say, and the go-ahead run at the plate in the long ball hitting Thome. Pitch hits him on the arm or back, and the Dodgers now with 2 runners on as Russell Martin advances to second, the tying run in scoring position. Thome is on at first, and it's all come with 2 out.
Boy, a cutter that just left his hand bad that time, ran way up and in and flipped Jim Thome, and we're going to get a pinch runner. Looks like Orlando Hudson is going to be the pinch runner for Thome.
And he went into pinch run last night as well, and well, Thome takes one for the team. And a conference on the mound. Dave Duncan, Cardinal pitching coach, out there, and everyone huddling. Looks like a huddle before 3rd down and 5. So Adam Wainwright trying to get out of this 8th inning. Red Sox and Angels, game 1 will follow. John Smoltz is back up throwing along with Trevor Miller. So a lefty and a righty in the Cardinal pen. And here's Rafael Furcal. 1 for 3, singled his last time up after 3 hits last night. Big batter for Wainwright. 1-0.
For the first time in the ball game, rather, some signs that Wainwright is losing his release point a little bit. He clipped Thome with that cutter up and in. That time missed badly away with the curveball to Furcal.
And Furcal is 8 for 19 against the Cardinal righty. So he's had more than decent success.
And keep an eye on Molina once again behind the plate. Sometimes he'll bail his pitcher out of a jam with a pickoff attempt.
And there's the throw. Safe at first. Pujols thought he had him. And Mike Everett, the first base umpire, and right on the money, Bob Brenly. Pujols was playing well back and charged to the bag.
Boy, and I think they would have had Hudson had Molina been able to grab the grip on the first try. He couldn't quite find the seams that he was looking for, had to re-grip and throw. Pujols streaking in behind Orlando Hudson, clearly safe, got his hand in on the bag, but oh, you got to believe if Molina gets that ball on the first attempt, they may have had Hudson down there at first base.
And the breaking ball in for the strike. 2-1 to Rafael Furcal. Holiday's home run in the 7th gave the Cardinals a 1-0 lead. Ethier's home run with 2 out in the 4th tied it up. And a double by Rasmus in the 7th, giving the Cardinals the 2-1 lead. Another breaking ball in for the strike. 2-2.
Now, Furcal is a hitter that wants to hit a fastball every at bat against every opposing pitcher. He wants to hit a fastball. Until he gets the 2 strikes, he doesn't usually offer at a breaking pitch.
Brendan Ryan playing right behind Russell Martin at second. George Sherrill warming up for the Dodgers. He'll be coming in. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And it's down low in the dirt. And the count is full.
Now, we saw this from Yadier Molina last night with the runner at second base. You'll watch after he gives his sign to Adam Wainwright, he gave the signal for get it up high, which would usually indicate a high fastball. Instead, Wainwright was throwing a breaking ball. Just trying to add a little deception just in case the runner at second base is relaying anything to the hitter.
And the runner at second is a catcher.
Yep. Here's what we're talking about. You see Molina, give it to me up here. Get it up here. Well, the only pitch you're going to throw that high is a fastball, and instead Wainwright drops a curveball in the dirt and very nearly gets a swing and a miss from Furcal.
So with 2 out in the count, 3-2, the runners will be off on the pitch. Martin from second, Orlando Hudson from first. There they go, and it's ball 4 outside, and the bases are loaded. That is the first walk issued by Adam Wainwright. Martin goes to third, Hudson to second. So the tying run at third and the go-ahead run at second with Matt Kemp coming to the plate. Matt Kemp 0 for 3, struck out his first 2 times up.
And has seen a steady diet of breaking pitches throughout this afternoon from Adam Wainwright.
3 Grand Slam homers for Kemp this year. And watch out. Breaking ball up and in. This 1-0 the count to Kemp. And Wainwright has to challenge him with the tying run at third base. Now back out of play, and it's 1-1 to Matt Kemp. The 2-run homer last night in the bottom of the first inning, and that resulted in a come-from-behind win as early as it was. And now Matt Kemp trying to give the Dodgers yet another come-from-behind win as they trail 2-1 here in the bottom of the 8th. And off to fifth, Pujols on one hop on the broken bat, and the side is retired. And the Dodgers leave the bases loaded and still trail the Cardinals 2-1 as we move to the 9th, and Wainwright gets out of big damage. A game apiece. Aerial coverage provided to you by Goodyear. New Fuel Max tires help you get there on less gas. Calculate your savings at GoodyearTires.com. So some dramatic moments in the bottom of the 8th inning as Wainwright gets Matt Kemp for the 3rd out, leaving the tying run at 3rd and the go-ahead run at 2nd. And so Yadier Molina leading off for the Cardinals here in the 9th against George Sherrill.
Well, you know, Dick, ball players have a saying, when a pitcher runs a fastball in on your hands, he got in his kitchen. Well, not only did Wainwright get into Matt Kemp's kitchen, he made a sandwich, had a glass of milk, and slammed the back door on the way out. Wow, did he get jammed.
And there you see Wainwright getting a hug and a pat on the back from Tony La Russa. And there's a shot hit. And Belliard making the play at first. Good backhanded stop on the hard hit ball by Molina. So here is George Sherrill, who pitched last night, worked 2/3 of an inning. That was the 8th inning. He hit a batter, did not give up a hit. And a tremendous acquisition from the Baltimore Orioles. He had 20 saves and 23 opportunities, and comes here as the setup man for Broxton. 1-0 the count to Derosa, who was 1 for 3 with a single and came around and scored on Rasmus's double, and that proved to be the big hit for the Cardinals in the 7th inning to give them the lead. 2-0 now. So Mark Derosa, who is in his 7th postseason. Shot, base hit over for Call's jump, and Mark Derosa now with hits in his last 2 at-bats.
Yeah, we talk about Mark DeRosa's approach at the plate. He learned this from Rudy Jaramillo, the fine hitting coach for the Texas Rangers, when DeRosa was with the Rangers, and it's all part of the timing mechanism. But any hitter, when you get in that good hitter's count of 2-0, then you can get that bat started a little bit early for the fastball, more likely to make solid contact, and DeRosa did that time.
So Mark DeRosa, who now has 5 hits in 9 trips to the plate, and has been the biggest hitter, most proficient for the Cardinals, and has Adam Wainwright. And on the on-deck circle is Troy Gloss and Trevor Miller, southpaw, warming up Colby Rasmus, who's doubled to the base of the center field wall, knocking in what's proven to be the key run in this game, and takes the pitch outside for a ball.
I would imagine we're going to see a parade of relief pitchers. If indeed Adam Wainwright is out of this ball game, you'll see Miller in there to face Ethier, probably a right-hander to face Manny Ramirez, and we'll see what happens after that.
That's down low. 2 balls and no strikes. And here is the big double by Colby Rasmus off the base of the wall in center field, driving in Mark DeRosa. The cutoff, and Rasmus was out at 3rd, so the Cardinals couldn't tack on any runs, but they did get that go-ahead run, and that's where we stand, 2-1. 2-0 pitch is in for the strike, 2-1 to Rasmus, as Ryan Franklin, the Cardinal closer, is starting to throw in the bullpen, as Miller also is out there for the Redbirds. There is Ryan Franklin, who had 38 saves for St. Louis, and there's a shot to left field, and Ramirez backhands it. Sometimes you have to hold your breath on some of those shots out to Mandyland.
Well, he won't win any style points, but the bottom line is he made the catch on that sinking line drive into left field, able to reach across and make the backhanded catch.
So Troy Gloss is going to bat for Adam Wainwright. With 2 down and DeRosa on at first base. Gloss struck out pinch hitting in the 7th inning last night. Of course, his former team, the Angels, getting set to face the Red Sox coming up next on TBS, and a fly ball to center field. And there goes Kemp, and he makes the one-handed grab to end the inning. So Loss, it's a deep drive to the warning track. And now we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It'll be Ethier, Ramirez, and Loney for the Dodgers. Loney and Trevor Miller is in the pitch. Adam Wainwright with a brilliant pitching performance today, giving up 1 run and 3 hits, striking out 7 in 8 innings. And no real surprise as to why Miller, the lefty, is in there against Ethier.
Ethier, a 194 hitter during the regular season against left-handed pitching. 1 for 5 against Trevor Miller. As you get a look at his numbers on the season, he'll drop his arm angle way down to the side against the lefties.
They checked with the third base umpire Ed Rapuano and did not swing. So the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. So there, as you just mentioned, 194. 6 home runs and only 25 runs batted in for a guy who drove over 100. And now the count 2-1 to Ethier. Dodgers loaded the bases last inning, and Wainwright got Matt Kemp and sawed him off to end that threat. And now Trevor Miller. Breaking ball fouled into the Cardinal dugout, and the count is even at 2-2. Dodgers, who won back-to-back division titles for the first time since 77, 78. It's been a while. And trying to protect their home field, winning last night, trying to come back and make it 2-0. And a line drive into the crowd. So it remains 2-2.
Miller's actually made a couple of mistakes with that slider, left it on the inside part of the plate. Fortunately for him, Ethier pulled a foul down that right field line.
Missing inside, and a 3-2 count to Ethier. Agonizing moments in the dugout for the Cardinals.
A little bit of a tailing fastball off the inside corner. Usually that's to set up the next slider away when Trevor Miller's facing a left-handed hitter.
Manny on deck. 3-2. Out of play. Miller came in the 6th last night and struck out Jim Thome with the bases loaded. Calling for it in short right field, makes the catch to retire Ethier. 1 out in the 9th inning, and Manny Ramirez coming to the plate, and Tony La Russa is going to come out and get Ryan Franklin, his closer, coming into the game.
Boy, Andre Ethier actually got a pretty good slider to hit right there on the full count pitch from Trevor Miller. See, Molina slides out on the outside corner. That pitch is basically down the hard of the plate, but Ethier just got underneath it and popped it up.
Franklin comes in to face Manny in a 2-1 game. We'll be right back. And Ryan Franklin with 38 saves, but only 1 coming after September the 5th, and an earned run average of 1.92, and the first season as a closer for the Cardinals.
He's got real good stuff. Relies a lot on a cut fastball. Occasionally will throw a 4-seamer up in the zone for effect. Has a real good tight curveball. And this is without a doubt the right move for Tony La Russa to make, even though his closer's a right-handed pitcher, bringing him in to face a right-handed hitter in Manny Ramirez. Manny Ramirez is 5 for 16 this season with 2 homers against Ryan Franklin.
So the percentages are there, but the edge is Manny Ramirez, and we'll see how it pans out here. And the Dodger fans are hoping for the long ball from Manny that would tie the game, and the Cardinals looking to put this away and even the series at 1 apiece going to St. Louis. Franklin, in 5 appearances against the Dodgers, has 3 saves and an ERA of 1.69. So here it is, and Ramirez 0 for 3 and 1 for 7 in the series.
Boy, and as badly as Manny has struggled down the stretch and so far in this postseason, he could really win these fans over, making some big noise right here.
One out, bottom of the 9th, 2-1 Cardinals. Ball one low.
Don't forget that good at bat that Manny Ramirez had his last time up against Adam Wainwright. Saw 9 pitches before finally going down on a knee buckling curveball.
Fly ball to center field, and Rasmus is there to make the catch. And a big out for Ryan Franklin, getting the dangerous Manny Ramirez for out number 2. And the last hope for the Dodgers is first baseman James Loney. Loney is 1 for 7 against Ryan Franklin. He's 0 for 3 in this game and 2 for 7 in the series thus far. So the Dodgers down to their last out, and the Cardinals in what has been a super pitching duel today, Bob.
No question about it. It lived up to the billing. Young Clayton Kershaw starting for the Dodgers, Adam Wainwright for the Cardinals, and both were very well represented today.
1-0 is the count to Loney. Pitch is down low again, 2-0. On deck for the Dodgers, if Loney can keep their hopes going, is Casey Blake. Cardinals with runs in the 2nd and 7th inning. The Dodgers got their run in the 4th. 2-0 pitch. There's a strike. 2-1. Breaking ball fouled out of play, so it's 2-2 now to Loney. Ryan Franklin trying to end the game, and if Casey Blake gets to the plate, look what he's done against Ryan Franklin. 6 for 13, including a home run. Manny just retired for the 2nd out, and Ryan Franklin would dearly love to get Loney here and not have to go up against Blake. 2-2 pitch and a line drive to left field. Matt Holliday coming on, drops the ball, and Loney will go to second base. Matt Holliday was there and dropped the ball, and the Dodgers have the tying run in scoring position.
We'll probably see Juan Pierre as a pinch runner for James Loney out there at second base representing the tying run. Matt Holliday, a little indecision there whether to try to catch that ball fingers up or fingers down, got caught in between and was not able to make the play.
A 2-base error charged to Holliday, and Juan Pierre will go in and run for Loney at second base with 2 out, and a big break for the Dodgers.
Well, we talked about this airtight outfield defense for the Cardinals this year. Matt Holliday had made only 1 error all season until misplaying that line drive.
And a conference on the mound as Dave Duncan coming in to just settle down Ryan Franklin. You know, Franklin, we said, hadn't had a save for most of the month. And this thing would unnerve a pitcher in a situation like this, as Blake, who has had success against Ryan, as we've shown you, coming up. Wins in the last at-bat, leading the major leagues. And the Dodgers with the tying run at second, trailing 2-1. And will that error come back to haunt the Cardinals? Pierre opens up a big lead. No one near holding him near second base. There's a called strike. And 1-1 the count to Blake. Ryan Franklin trying to overcome that error by Matt Holliday to put the Dodgers in scoring position to tie the game. Blake is 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Check swing. Strike, says first base umpire Mike Everett. And Blake went around, and it's now 1-2.
Very close. Depending on who you talk to, the determining factor is whether the barrel of the bat gets out in front of home plate. Did he commit to swing at the pitch? Casey Blake doesn't believe the call by Mike Everett down there at first base.
So first Ryan Franklin had to be settled down at the mound, and now Casey Blake has to settle himself at the plate with the count 1-2. And the 1-2 pitch outside, 2-2 to Blake. Trevor Miller started this ninth inning off by getting Andre Ethier on a pop fly to Lugo, and then Manny Ramirez facing Ryan Franklin. Fly to Rasmus in center field, and Loney looked like he had hit a fly ball to left field, and a long run for Holliday could not hold on to the ball. A two-base error. Pierre running for Loney, and the count to Blake 2-2. Pierre back to the bag. And remember the success Blake has had against Ryan Franklin. 6 for 13, including a home run and 2 runs driven in. Foul back. Holliday's home run in the second put the Cardinals up 1-0. Ethier's 2-out homer in the fourth tied it up. Rasmus with a double to the center field wall in the seventh, driving in Derosa, and that's how the runs were scored. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. And the count is full. Ronnie Belliard on deck for the Dodgers if Blake gets aboard.
Boy, a lot of cut fastballs in this at bat to Casey Blake, and Albert Pujols still positioned way off the line down there at first base. Blake would happen to get one of those cutters away and shoot it down into that corner.
Here's the 3-2 pitch and foul ball. And reaching out across the plate was Casey Blake. So we'll do it again. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the ninth inning. The Cardinals leading the Dodgers 2-1. Where the Dodgers have the tying run in scoring position. Is Blake. Hong-Chi Kuo is warming up in the Dodger bullpen. So if the Dodgers were to tie this game and send it to extra innings, Kuo would come in. There's the left-hander who was effective last night. Time called, and Molina will go to the mound.
Every pitch to Casey Blake in this sequence has been a fastball, either a four-seamer or a cutter away. Yadier Molina, probably in the back of his mind, would love to call for that tight curveball, but the last thing in the world you want to do is walk the go-ahead run onto base. Might have gone out to the mound to have a chat with his pitcher to see how he feels about changing it up and trying to throw a breaking ball here on the 3-2 count. I mean, this has been Franklin's history throughout the season. When he gets in trouble, he goes to that cut fastball. That's the pitch he has the most confidence in.
Crowd on its feet. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And way high, ball 4. And Blake draws the walk. And runners now at first and second. Tony La Russa looking down on his lineup card as Ronnie Belliard comes to the plate. Belliard is 0 for 3. Struck out his last 2 times up, but facing Franklin for the first time, and has faced Ryan Franklin more than any other Dodger. He's been up 17 times and has 4 hits, including 3 RBIs. So Pierre, the tying run is at second. Blake, the winning run would be at first. And a breaking ball, base hit to center field. Pierre will come around. The throw comes in, not in time, and the Dodgers tie it 2-2.
Like a slider breaking ball from Ryan Franklin, and he left right there on the inside part of the plate for Ronnie Belliard, right back up the middle of the field. And with the speed of Juan Pierre running at second base, he'll score easily to tie this one up.
Here's Russell Martin, takes up high, ball 1. So if Ronnie Belliard ties the game with a 2-out 3-2 single, scoring Pierre. Blake now is at second base, the potential winning run. And the count 2-0 to Russell Martin. 1 for 3 with a single his last time up. Martin is 1 for 4 against Ryan Franklin. And the ball getting away from Molina, and the runners will advance to second and third.
That appeared to be a cross up there from Ryan Franklin. Yadier Molina really reacted funny to that breaking pitch. La Russa was telling us before the game that one of Yadier Molina's biggest strengths is his soft hands and his ability to make borderline pitches look good. That time he was fooled completely by the pitch from his right-hander. Well, you can see the glove started up and then went back down. He was expecting something hard up and in that time, and it ended up being a breaking ball in the dirt.
So the pass ball charged to Molina, and now runners at second and third, and the only run that's significant is Blake at third. Potential winning run. Here's the 3-0 pitch, ball 4, and Martin walks. And Mark Loretta will come in and pinch hit with the bases loaded, 2 out, and the score tied. '38-year-old veteran Mark Loretta and Loretta 0 for 15 against Ryan Franklin. Bases are loaded in a tie game. The only runner that means anything is Blake at third. 2 down. Foul ball. 0-1 the count.
And Loretta, along with Juan Pierre, led this Dodgers team with 14 pinch hits during the course of the regular season. But as you mentioned, he's had his problems with Ryan Franklin.
Only his second postseason appearance in 15 years in the big league. Dodgers with 12 walk-off wins. And a line drive to center field, base hit, and the Dodgers win. Mark Loretta, who was 0 for 15 against Ryan Franklin, delivers a single, and the Dodgers, with 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning, beat the Cardinals 3-2. And what an agonizing moment that has to be for Matt Holliday, the left fielder, who could not handle what would have been the 3rd out of the game with a fly to left field.
Well, but what a great moment for Mark Loretta, playing in his 15th Major League season, probably the biggest base hit he's had in his career. What an amazing comeback by this very resilient Dodgers team.
They've done it this way all season long. And by winning, the Dodgers have taken a 2-0 lead in the best of 5 series against the Cardinals.
And this rally all started with 2 outs in the 9th inning.
And it was the era that started it off. There are a lot of crushing defeats that teams experience, and this has to be at the top of the list.
And knowing how important this game was before going back to Busch Stadium, the Cardinals definitely wanted to go home with a split. That will not be the case.
And right now, let's go down to the field to Tom Verducci.
I'm with Mark Loretta. Mark, 2 outs, 9th inning, nobody on base. This team does it again. 22 last at-bat wins this season. What is it about this team in those situations?
I think it's just the confidence we had in the last inning. Ether's had 6 walk-off hits, and my hit was just the last one, but Ronnie Belliard had a big hit. Our bullpen was great, and Kershaw really gave us a lift. It was exciting.
Mark, during your career, no hits in 15 at-bats against Ryan Franklin. I'm not sure if you knew the numbers, but what was your approach there?
Unfortunately, I did know the numbers, and I knew he was probably going to come hard at me, and first pitch I fouled off, and the second one I was able to, kind of fist out there and found some holes, so I was fortunate.
Now you have a chance to close this series out in St. Louis in Game 3. What can we expect in Game 3?
Well, this series is far from over. We've seen teams come back, and St. Louis is a very talented club, and we're going to have to really keep battling as hard as we can and hopefully get a win.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Tom.
Back to you guys.
What a dramatic game, and Game 3 Saturday, Joel Pinheiro, the 15-game winner for the Cardinals. Vicente Padilla, mid to late season acquisition for the Dodgers. So for Bob Brenly and Tom Verducci, Dick Stockton saying so long from Los Angeles. Game 1 between the Red Sox and the Angels is coming up. But first, we'll send it to Ernie Johnson in Atlanta right after these messages.